So yesterday we talked about the world's energy needs, and we explained that the demand for primary energy sources in the world, all over the world, needed to generate electricity is increasing rapidly. We explained about the primary energy sources and the secondary energy sources. So we said that primary energy sources such as coal, oil, gas, and uranium, and the secondary one that we can get from these primaries, such as the gasoline, petrol, and hydrogen, because can convert the primary ones so we can get the secondary sources of energy, okay? And we talked about the renewable sources and non-renewable sources and how can they affect the environment. Today we will study about the fossil fuels, okay? And we will explain how can we generate electricity using these fossil fuels. All over the world, the fossil fuels are used to generate electricity. So fossil fuels power stations. Most power stations use the stored energy in fossil fuels to generate electricity. Can you give me an example for fossil fuels? Or what are these fossil fuels?
They're the fuels made from fossils.
What are these fossils?
Like when animals die, they rot on the ground.
Yeah. They buried deeply under the ground, more sand or mud covered them.
And then these fossils, they become fuel.
Yeah. What else? Are they just animals? Motosum, they are not just
And
oil.
plants.
Then they can turn into oil, but fossils itself, like what are fossils?
And like the dead plants and
Dead
trees.
plants even? Okay, so all these organisms were live. One day they were alive, okay? So they have energy inside them, okay, that comes from food. For the plants, they have energy from the sun. And the animals, they have energy from the other organisms that they are feeding on, okay? So these fossils have energy inside them. So the power stations use this energy that's stored in them to generate electricity. We will come to the steps and how can we generate electricity later, okay? Fossil fuels.
Miss, I have a question.
Yes.
These fossil fuels, they're made from plants and animals. Are
Yes.
they also made from human fossils?
Human fossils? No.
Yes, for example, if people died in that region long ago and nobody knows what they're deep down buried.
They might. They might,
Okay.
because they have energy inside them. Okay. So these fossil fuels are non-renewable energy sources. Why they are non-renewable energy sources? Yesterday we explained this.
Because we can't replace them easily.
Yeah, they will run out
Yeah.
and not replace them easily as we need. Okay, so we need to work out how to meet our electricity needs in the future. If we consumed too much fossil fuels, of these fossil fuels, one day we will run out of these fossils and we cannot get more energy and more electricity, especially electricity, okay? So that's why we need to work out the need for these fossil fuel for the electricity in future. We need to use more renewable sources such as sun, such as wind and water, okay? So we need to stop or we need to minimize the needs for the fossil fuels. Power stations need to be built near a water supply such as the sea, a river, or a reservoir. So why?
Is it because
What's
they
the question
need
again?
water?
Sorry?
Is it because they need the water?
They need water for what?
To like run the
To
power
throw their
station?
waste in it.
Muhammad, you said what?
To throw their waste in it.
Through no. In this case, you
Hmm?
will pollute the water.
Uh, all the power stations are doing that, I think.
Generator, Matasam. It's not a, okay, the power station is a generator for the electricity, but why do we need to use it, to build it next to or near to a water supply?
Like it helps it to work.
It's because yeah, they're going to use the water in the power station.
Yeah, okay. Have you heard of these steam power stations? They call it the
No.
steam power station or power station
No,
with the steam.
no,
Are those
Where,
the ones that have like big fire inside them? That like
no,
it's like a big oven that have inside them?
they can not big oven. They have the, okay, it's not an oven, okay, but the fire from the above that they are burning, that for the extra gases, okay, it's, of course it's harmful to the environment, okay. So these power stations work with the steam. We have them here in Libya. They are working with the steam. So they need to build them next to the water because they are using this water. The coal is heating the water and turn it into steam. This steam will run a turbine. These are like fans, okay? These fans work, they can run the generator to generate electricity and deliver it to homes and
Ah,
other
yes, I know
factories,
them.
okay? Okay, so I will show you, I will explain more about this here. And okay, look at the page. This is the power station. This is the power station, okay? So in the power
okay.
station here, you have the coal. You can see the coal. Let me get the pencil. Okay, you have here the coal. The coal will heat the water and the water will get into a boiler, okay? It will get, sorry, the coal here will get, this is a boiler, okay? The boiler will turn it into a steam. This steam goes into these turbines. It will, just a second, sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, this boiler, it will turn it into steam. Okay, this steam will hit the turbine and make them work because it's very hot and it's a lot. Okay, it will make this turbine move like this because it's like a fan. Okay, then it will run the generator. The generator will generate electricity and deliver it to the homes and factories. Okay, so let's see the steps together. The power station, in the power station, the coal, oil, or gas is burned to run water into steam. So it will turn it into steam. Then this steam will drives a turbine, which is make it move, which is like a giant fan that spins around. This is the turbine, okay? Then the turbine is connected to this generator to produce a voltage in coils around it, which is, this generator has like, uses the coil, so it will be like, it will create a little bit magnetic field. It will create, produce electricity voltage. So in this case, it will generate electricity. The steam is turned back to water in the condenser. They have then condenser, which is here the cooling system. Let me move this here. Okay, you have here a cooling system. Okay, this cooling system, it will turn it into water again. So it will go back. It will just keep circling in the power station. Is it clear?
Yes.
Guys, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I will show you a video to explain more about this. Okay, we will skip this because they are explaining about the methods, okay? Okay, I don't want to get more in this, okay, because we are talking about the fossil fuels are working, the power, how the power stations work. Okay, so this was a video to show you more about the power station, how do they work, and how can they generate electricity, and the second part of it, how the electricity gets from the high voltage to low voltage to our homes. Is it clear for you?
Yes.
Okay. Burning fossil fuels in power stations produce CO2. Can you tell me, burning fossil fuels can also pollute the air? Can you tell me why the fossil fuels also pollute the air? We have CO2, okay? Can we consider CO2 as a pollutant?
What?
Can we consider
Yes,
CO2
because
as a
it's a
pollutant?
greenhouse gas.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's a greenhouse
Yes.
gas.
Okay, thank you,
I
Mohammed.
didn't hear the questions.
I said, can we,
It will cause,
sorry, Sophie, it's just a little bit. Can we, Mohammed, I said, can we consider CO2 as a pollutant that can pollute the air?
I think yes.
Okay, why do you think yes?
Because it affects the green light house.
It is a
Yeah.
greenhouse gas.
It will increase the greenhouse effect.
It will increase the greenhouse effect, which is causes the global warming to increase. Okay, what about the other gases? Why the burning fossil fuels can also pollute the air? We studied this in
Because
air pollution.
it will release some other gases
It
that
will
are
release other
pollutants.
gases, okay? Do you remember what are the gases that come from power stations?
Uh,
Yeah.
Okay,
Sulfur
For
dioxide.
dioxide,
Yes,
yeah,
sulfur
sulfur
dioxide and
dioxide comes
oxides of
from, not
nitrogen.
oxides of nitrogen comes from the traffics, okay? The
It comes from
Car
car,
car
engines.
engines.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but the sulfur dioxide
It comes from factories.
thank you,
Power
Nai.
station.
Good morning. Comes from
Hi, good
factories and
morning.
power stations. Okay, so that's why the fossil fuels can pollute the air. Fossil fuel power stations are a very reliable source of electricity that produce electricity all the time. As we saw in the video, they can create a very high voltage that can be produced, can be delivered to the homes, factories, or any other consumers. That's why it's reliable, okay? Most of the energy wasted in generating electricity is thermal energy. So this is another problem. We have useful energy such as the electricity. Most of this energy is wasted as thermal energy because we have here the boilers, we have the steam. So the steam, we need to collect this steam again to cool it down, and more than this, we still have wasted energy as thermal energy. And even as you saw in the video, you can even if you touch the wire, you can feel it. It's a hot wire. So this is wasted energy. In some power stations, that thermal energy is used to heat water, which heats nearby homes and factories. So they can use this wasted energy to be useful energy to heat nearby homes and factories. They can use it, they can reuse it, okay? Or take this wasted energy and use it for their own good, okay? Okay, so now how were fossil fuels formed? How they formed? Fossil fuels formed from plants and animals that lived millions of years ago. When they died, they were covered by mud and sand. So now we have step by step. We have animals and plants. Okay, let's take a look over the plants now. When trees died, okay, let me share the whiteboard, okay? So when trees died, okay, under the ground, they were buried under the ground, and here mud and sand covered them with layers and layers, okay? So they were very deep under the ground, okay?
Okay, yes.
Then this squeezed them under the ground, okay? Let me share this, okay? So when they died, they were covered with mud and sand. Mud and sand piled up and compressed them. What is piled up?
Like they just went on it and like they became a lot on top of it.
Yeah, like they
Yes,
formed layers and
would
layers
cover them.
gathered, and they formed layers and layers. Yes, Matasam? Moved up? Not like moved up. They when you bury something, you need to cover it with a lot of sand, layers and layers, right? So this is piled up, and they buried this thing, and then they press it, they compress it down. Okay, they compressed it down.
Yes,
Yes, Matasan?
yeah.
Okay, so when they compressed it down, thermal energy from beneath the earth and the pressure of the mud changed the trees into coal. So over years, this process takes years and years, okay, to complete, to turn these living or dead organisms into coal. So these trees, because of the thermal energy beneath the earth and the pressure of the mud, change these trees into. Okay, what about the bodies of the sea creatures? Under the sea, we have sea creatures that died and sinked into the bottom.
Under the
Then the pressure of the mud and
I
sand.
think they're going deeper faster than the ones
Yeah.
floating on the air.
Because they are dead,
Yes.
so they will be heavy, so they will sink down. Okay, they cannot stay up. Okay, so these sea creatures, when they buried
And
under
even
the
because of the
ground,
weight of the water.
because because of when they buried under this under the sea, they had layers on layers of mud and sand. Even the current, when the water moves, it can move the sand down. Okay, so it will cover up the dead creatures. Okay, so over millions and millions of years, they turned into oil and gas by the pressure and the thermal energy under the sea. Okay, so let's take a look over this. So here we have the tree, okay? Then we said the pressure of the mud and the sand and the heat around it, the thermal energy around it from the earth, that compressed them down and turned them into coal, okay? This is for the trees. The sea creatures, such as, for example, let's say crab, okay? It has a shell, okay? So the mud and sand also buried it, okay? And the pressure from up and the thermal energy from around it, from the surrounding, compressed it more and turned it into oil and gas. And as I said, this process takes years, millions of years to complete. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was how these fossil fuels forms. Scientists still developing new ways to find fossil fuels underground. Why? Can you tell me why
Because
scientists still developing new ways to find these fossil fuels?
like to find more of the fossil fuel because it's non-renewable. So
Yeah, because these fossil fuels, as we explained previously, these are non-renewable sources. So we need more.
So they
We need
have to
more of
get
them.
like a huge amount of them.
Yeah, so they need to find another way. They need to develop their ways to find more of these underground so they can use it in future. Because until now, they just can estimate the amount of the fossil fuels that we have underground for the whole world. They are saying now, they are estimating that we almost run out of this fossil fuel, so we need to dig for more. We need to find more of them, okay, for future. So this was all about fossil fuels. We had the summary is saying that in fossil fuel power stations, the fuel is burnt to turn water into steam. So this steam turns the turbine, which turns a generator to generate electricity. The burning fossil fuels can produce carbon dioxide and other gases, of course. So, and here we have coal, oil, and gas are the remain of plants and animals that lived millions of years ago. So these are fossil fuels. So this was all about the fossil fuels. Don't forget the yellow box, okay? And please, as I said previously, I needed to start working on the revision questions, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so next lesson, inshallah, we will explain about generating electricity. How can we generate electricity? And since we explained now about the generating electricity in power stations. Okay, thank you, Matasam. See you next time, guys. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Goodbye.